Projekt Guru.
Всем привет! С вами Zak Novak на радиостанции Novorossia Rocks. Welcome to Novorossia Rocks radio station. This is Zak Novak, your American in downtown Donetsk. The program is called Projekt Guru, and Guru is in the house as always. My engineer, Andre. Let's get right to it. Civilian areas targeted by the Nazi Ukraine forces. Apartment complex was targeted last night by Nazi Kiev Junta fighters from the village of Novorossia at the settlement Elenovka. This was reported by our DPR Defense Ministry. As a result of artillery shelling in the village of Elenovka by Nazi Ukrainian forces last night, many apartments flats were heavily damaged on Novorossia Street 6. There is no data on casualties at this time. We do not want to join the EU. Repeat, we do not want to join the EU if being like Nazi Croatia is a condition. This from Dacic. If being like Nazi Croatia and becoming a revisionist country rehabilitating Nazism, fascism, Ustashism is a condition for joining the EU, we do not want to join such an EU, Serbian Foreign Minister Ivica Dacic said on Tuesday. Speaking at a press conference, Dacic said Croatia had not responded to a single query from Serbia about the latest incidents such as the annulment of the conviction of Roman Catholic Cardinal Stepinac, who was loyal to the World War II era pro-fascist Ustashi regime of the independent state of Croatia, the overturning of the conviction of Branimir Glavaš, sentenced for war crimes against Serb civilians in 91. The events in Srb were a 75th anniversary commemoration of an anti-fascist uprising was disrupted by Croatian far-right extremists, and the unveiling of a monument to Miro Barišić, who assassinated Vladimir Rolović, then Yugoslav ambassador to Sweden in 71. The Croats can be fascists, Ustashi, Nazis, or whatever they want, but Serbia will not allow a denial and justification of crimes against Serbs, and we will not allow humiliations. Germany refers to Hitler as the greatest evil, while Croatia is proud of the independent state of Croatia, Dacic said, adding that he believed the EU would not forever be deaf and dumb to the current situation in Croatia. Serbia wants the EU to condemn such actions, he stressed. Guru, this for you. Restoring and closer ties. Russian President Putin and Turkish counterpart Erdogan set meeting for August 9th. The Kremlin expects that Russian President Vladimir Putin and his Turkish counterpart Recep Tayyip Erdogan will discuss at their August 9th meeting ways of restoring the bilateral relations, Russian presidential spokesman Dmitry Peskov said on Thursday. There will be a serious exchange of views on how and what pace and in what sequence we will deal with the restoration of our relations. The agenda is easily predictable, Peskov said. Prior to the well-known incident with the Russian warplane shot down by Turkish Air Force last November, Russia and Turkey enjoyed partnership relations. Work was underway on an entire range of issues related to trade, economic, and investment cooperation. There was intense political dialogue. The Kremlin spokesman added that the two leaders will also discuss regional issues, including the situation in Syria. It's safe to predict that there will be a detailed exchange of views on regional problems, including Syria. Relations between Poland and Ukraine will not improve without admitting the truth about Volyn massacre. The relationship of Warsaw and Kiev will not improve without admitting the truth about the Volyn massacre, said the Secretary of State of Poland, Anna Maria Anders. According to Anna Maria Anders, without truth we cannot move forward, and we can't apologize for telling the truth. Relations with Ukraine are complicated with the goings-on in this country with war. It is a very difficult moment for this country, but we need to call things by their proper names. She noted that the modern Ukrainian society, especially youth, still does not know, based on what the tragedy of the Polish inhabitants of Volhynia and southeast Galicia were killed en masse at the hands of not only the UPA but also their Ukrainian neighbors. I think it's very important, it is very good that we finally said that it was genocide. The envoy of the Polish Prime Minister at the same time stressed that the dialogue with the Ukrainians should be conducted at all levels, not only governments and ministers but also between the citizens of both countries. The only way to continuously improve relations between the two countries. I myself am in very good relations with the ambassador of Ukraine and Poland. Specific conversations about our future together is very important. Serbia says no to sanctions, increased exports to Russia by 18%. Viva Serbia. Exports of agricultural products from Serbia to Russia for the first half of 2016 is up by 17.9% compared to the same period last year, stated the Committee of Agriculture of Serbia today. Total revenue amounted to 379.8 million euros. According to the committee, the stabilization of the ruble exchange rate made a positive impact on the revenues of Serbian manufacturers. Serbia is one of the few European countries that refuse to join the anti-Russian sanctions, citing the centuries-old friendly relations, and hold this position nowadays. After Moscow's retaliatory sanctions, Serbia automatically got a unique opportunity in the Russian market. Viva Serbia. Horrific war crimes as the Obama regime defends and excuses terrorist group Noor al-Din al-Zinki, a Free Syrian Army group. The U.S. policy of arming moderate rebel factions in Syria has a lot of problems, but none bigger than the Noor al-Din al-Zinki, a Free Syrian Army FSA-linked group that's been getting U.S. aid for quite some time and also grabbing headlines for a series of incidents. In early July, an Amnesty International report named them as one of several U.S.-backed groups involved in torture and summary executions. Just 2 weeks ago later, the group's social media account showed fighters beheading a young Palestinian boy described as an Assad soldier. Now Russia is suggesting this same group was responsible for chemical weapons attack this week in Aleppo. That's a lot of bad publicity for a matter of a few weeks, and it's starting to come up in State Department briefings, though spokesman Mark Toner downplayed the incidents or the possibility that the U.S. would stop arming Noor al-Din al-Zinki just because they beheaded a child and used chemical weapons. First of all, there's a lot of betting of Syrian moderate opposition that has already taken place, and it's not just by the U.S., Toner insisted, adding that one incident here and there would not necessarily make you a terrorist group. Toner said that didn't mean the U.S. condoned the beheading or the chemical attack, but that the U.S. focus was on backing the moderate opposition and differentiating Noor al-Din al-Zinki from other groups like ISIS and al-Qaeda's Nusra Front, because those groups have aspirations to attack not just in Syria, but also against the West. Future looks bleak for the world as record military deal between Israel and U.S. are in the works. More war, more misery. An unnamed senior U.S. official familiar with the situation has told Reuters that significant progress has been made in 3 days of closed-door meetings between Israel's acting National Security Council head and U.S. National Security Advisor Susan Rice. The talks centered around the still unsettled question of the new 10-year military aid deal to Israel, which U.S. officials have vowed will be the largest military aid package to anyone ever, but which the Obama administration has struggled to get Israel to accept. Certain subjects of dispute appear to have been settled. The current pact, a 10-year, listen to this, Guru, 10-year, $30 billion pact will expire in 2018, and President Obama wants to get another one in place before his term ends in January. The $37 billion offer, however, has been so far spurned by Israel, which has objected to Obama's limits, designed to ensure that the overwhelming majority of the money is given to U.S. military contractors and not Israeli companies. Some in Israel government believe that they can get more money simply by waiting out Obama and negotiating with his successor, and indeed, Republican candidate Donald Trump's advisor has openly urged Israel not to deal with Obama on the notion they get more out of Trump. There has been concern, however, that Israel spurning Obama's offer would further politicize Israel aid with the U.S., and while the administration seems to be eager to sell Israel on a pact, they're so far not willing to drive the price up to well in excess of $40 billion to do so. With the Obama regime's so-called war on ISIS, the terrorist group has increased its global reach. While ISIS remains the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, it's got an increasingly global reach, with affiliates in an ever-increasing number of countries and cells across Western Europe launching attacks at growing rate. A new White House briefing laid out the grim facts. At the time the U.S. launched a war against ISIS in 2014, the group had a presence in 7 nations worldwide. Suddenly being at war with the United United States and a huge coalition gave the group a major boost in international credibility and got them on the radar in more countries. By 2015, the State Department estimated that ISIS had a presence in 13 countries, and the latest briefing showed 18 fully operational ISIS countries in the world, meaning it's well more than doubled since the U.S. war began. The briefing also added 6 more countries where ISIS is taking root. While the U.S. continues to present ISIS in Iraq and Syria as being on the ropes in the face of growing offensives, the group's presence in both countries remains substantial, and with ISIS franchise cropping up all over the world, the U.S. may wind up expanding into even more nations, with strikes beginning in Libya just last week, chasing an ISIS group that has benefited massively from being designated America's enemy. Hey everyone, that ends our program. As I stress always, be safe out there, be on alert, and thank you so much again for supporting Novorossia Rocks radio station. Thank you so much for supporting Projekt Guru. We will be back on Monday. Enjoy the weekend. Be safe. Bye-bye, folks.